Hi, fellow traders. Yes, I have found it. I found the Holy Grail. I've found the secret to success. It's taken me 6 years of painstaking search, but I finally found it. I know what you guys are thinking. Ed's going to tell me that, yeah, this is roadmap to success. No. This does not have any secrets in it. Everything in this roadmap, all of this information, all of these concepts are readily available. When I started, all of these concepts were out there. They just were not put into any type of sequence that you could follow and develop and grow into being a consistent trader. You couldn't. And that's what this roadmap is. It's not a secret to success. It is what I did. Every step I made, based on every mistake I made, misstep, all of that. So how did I come up with that? That's the secret, guys. I came up with it. I had to get hooked to these machines and had all these electrodes hooked to my head, my chest, my legs, to extract all of that information. This is a secret machine that nobody else has, and they hooked it up and they sucked all of my hopes and dreams out, put it on paper, and now I'm giving it to you. Yeah, right. That's the biggest crock. These are pictures of my sleep study last night. And let me tell you, it was no fun. And that's when I hooked all of this stuff up, or when they hooked all of this stuff up to me, and I took a picture of myself and I looked at it and I'm like, it looks like they're trying to extract all of this information from my head. And I just kind of thought about it. I was like, what if I did this and extract all the information about trading and put it into something and sold it? And I'm like, wait, damn, that's my roadmap to success. I took everything that I learned and put it into one thing so that you guys have the ability to get to that next level. And that's what this is about. That's all it is about. There's no secret. There are no secrets. There's nothing in here that is not out there. It's just put together and it's taught in a way to help you build and develop those skills that you needed. Because I know you guys know this. If you've been in the market, you've seen it. There's unlimited earning potential. Unlimited. I know you can touch it. You can feel it. You can taste it. Every day you can see it. We're here. And some of you guys have even experienced a piece of it where you've made this big winning trade, or you made a couple of big winning trades. But the problem is you can't find that consistency. You can't bridge that gap to where you could stay on the other side, where you can be a part of that 8% now is what they're calling it. It used to be 10%. But you can't seem to, you get over that bridge, but then they kick you out. Your visa runs out and you got to come back. Or whatever happens, you can't seem to stay on the right side of things. So it's all understanding why you think the way you think and what you need to change about how you approach this. There's a lot of things. It's not just one thing. There's many things. And that's what we go over. That's what I teach you. And then on top of that, yeah, there's some places where you're going to need me to hold your hand to get to. That's what the mentoring sessions are for. That's why they're free. It's to help you get from step to step. And that's what it's all about. I got a message from a guy today. He's like, I can't, he's a monthly subscriber, but he says, I can't do anything else if I can't make the $99 a month in my trading. Well, number one, that's the wrong mindset to have. That's a failure mindset. You're putting yourself in the wrong position. When you come into trading, you don't want to have any conditions put on, well, I got to make this money, I got to make that money. Because if you put that stress on you, it's going to cause you to do some things, make some bad decisions, and you're going to end up losing even more money. So the worst thing you can do is expect to pay for your trading right off the bat. Now, I've known people that has had a big trade, first trade out of the gate, but by the time it came to pay the bills at the end of the month, they lost it all because they really didn't know what they were doing. They just got lucky. It takes no skill to make a winning trade. None whatsoever. Hell, my cats made a winning trade before. And you know they don't know how to trade. So it takes no skill to make a winning trade. The skill comes in being consistently profitable over an extended period of time. And that's what's going to take you, which is going to bridge that gap. It's going to get you to that promised land, and it's going to allow you to stay there. That's what it's all about. So let's get into what we did today. Now, here's the daily chart on TER. You can't even see. It's crazy. You can't even see the candlestick for the day. That's over trading as far as I'm concerned. But here it is. I'm going to clear it up for you so you can see it. This is what we were getting into in TER. It was gapping up. It was on earnings. And it gapped up over its 52-week high. It had been making 52-week highs. So, yeah, it had been looking good. But it gapped up. And typically when you gap up like this, you're going to spark some selling. There are people, guys that may not have a whole lot of experience that will look to buy a fresh breakout. But the reality is, if you were going to buy a 52-week high breakout, it should have been back here on a fresh breakout. This isn't a fresh breakout. This is just continuing to run. And then we get a gap up like this. Now, yeah, it could continue to run. No doubt about that. It could continue to go, or it could pull back. You have no way of knowing until the market opens and it starts to tell you what it wants to do. And even then, as you see today, it still may fool you. So there's no way that we can tell with any degree of certainty what the outcome of any trade is going to be. If the setup happens, we take the trade, and all we can do is sit back and hope that other people have the same idea that we have and that are willing to buy it at a higher price or sell it at a lower price, depending on which direction we're going in. That's all we can do. The outcome of the trade has nothing to do with whether we're right or wrong, or how well we execute, or how bad we execute. That has nothing to do with how the market is moving. So we got to get that ingrained in our head. So we're going to break this trade down today. The first trade, of course, it gapped up, and we get this candle going. And even though we were selling off going into the open, this showed some decent signs of strength. So this candle opened. It, started to make this good move. It broke the 5-minute opening range high, and I took it. Here's the deal. The strategy triggered. You take the trade. It's just like yesterday. On IBM, the strategy hit. I took the trade. It did make a decent move. It just didn't quite get to where I wanted it to yesterday, and it pulled back in. Today, it didn't even get close, but it pulled back in. Okay, 2 days of failed trades in a row. I didn't do anything wrong. I executed the strategy perfectly. I didn't jump the gun. I didn't do anything. It's just that in this particular stock, it just didn't work. It could be the market conditions. It could be a lot of things. It could be, we don't know. We're not sitting there watching the other people who can actually move the market put in all of these trades. We don't know what's in their mind. All we can do is trade the strategy. Now, am I going to not trade this strategy tomorrow? No, I'm going to go in and do the same thing, because we cannot be inconsistent. We can't. We have to be consistent with executing our strategy. And if this trade doesn't work, then we stay engaged. And if another setup happens, we take it. That's what we do. We don't quit. We don't cry. We don't bitch, moan, and complain about the market, or the market hates me, or the strategy is garbage, or whatever. It's not. If you have an edge that works for you, it's not going to work 100% of the time. And you don't know if you're going to have a 5 trade losing streak or a 10 trade losing streak, or a 5 trade winning streak or a 10 trade winning streak. You don't know. You know the strategy is going to give you an edge. Statistically, that's proven. But whether the trade actually goes in your favor or not, you get random outcomes. And it's all based on the other market participants, the ones who do have the ability to move the market, where they're going to move it. Now, we could suspect that, hey, these big money guys, they know we look for 5-minute opening range breakouts or breakdowns. We'll fake them out, pick up some bucks, and go. Well, if that was the case, this would have bounced and it would have kept going. This was not that. This was something totally different, because it just kept selling off. But, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. You have to stick to your strategy, stick to your rules. Now, if I do this in over a month's time, I look at it and I see the same thing happen over and over and over again, then yeah, I'm going to make an adjustment. But I've given it a month of trades so that I could see that this is a legit pattern and not just temporary market volatility. And that's the way I have to look at it. All right, so we got the breakout again, ended up covering it. I probably should have taken it off up here. But again, we got all that support. You got to give it a chance. You got to. And I did. I gave it a shot. It didn't work. So I waited. Or were we going to bounce and rip back up? Or are we going to lose the 100 and keep on running? So we lost 100 right here. You can see we kind of held up on it. We couldn't hold it. We couldn't push off of it. And so once we sold through it, I jumped in. Now, yeah, I could have waited and, got in here. But it was just after 10 o'clock. I had every reason to believe we had enough volatility to just sell through it and hit my targets. And that's exactly what we got. Now, after 10 o'clock, I do not trade the 5-minute opening range. I don't trade off of it. So we were in a trend continuation setup, and that's what I was doing, continuing the downtrend that had been put in. That's all I was doing. So I got in, covered some here, covered some here. Stop was back at break even. I was going to add if we rejected. I was going to add right here. We didn't. Ended up getting stopped out at break even, locking in that profit. So I got in right where I was going to add. Got back in on the rejection, hit first target, got to that second target, and I was going to leave the rest on just to see how if we were going to continue to work lower. But we got the bounce here. We pull back a little bit, start climbing back up. And if you were in chat, you heard me talking about it feels like a momentum shift. If we don't make a lower low here, it looks like we're going to start pushing up. And so I moved my stop from break even to, it was just under break even. So you might as well say it was break even, but it was maybe 30, 40 cents to the good. But locked it in there. And so I was in the middle of a mentor session, and we were talking about this trade, and we're looking at it, and I really used this kind of as an example, but I was still trading to make money. And one of the good things about doing trading live in the room and trading one in a mentor session sometimes is you get to actually see what I'm doing, hear what I'm thinking, try to get a good understanding of what I see and what gives me these indications that, hey, the trend may be changing. Or no, this is just a bounce. This is not a trend change. I'm not seeing any evidence that we may be changing trend. So that was that. And the reason why I broke this up is because I wanted you to see second part of the trade. Here is that red candle here. This was the red candle here. Same one. So what did I do? It's like, yeah, this rejected. So we made a new low. What did I just forget? I just forgot that there's a potential trend change. We had a lower, we made a higher low and a slightly higher high. You know, I missed all of that. I just completely forgot. I got in tunnel vision because we were talking about this. And we took the trade. And I was like, you know what? Well, hey, this can still work, but this is not what you want to do. What we did, and when we were talking, we talked ourselves into taking this trade. And we talked ourselves into having tunnel vision, not looking at what happened here, but just looked at what was happening right now. And what that did was it bounced. And as we were coming back up, we bounced here. I'm like, we're changing, you know, it just feels like we're changing trends. I know we're under the 9. Let's just dump it and let's wait until we get an actual trend to build in. Or we could see that we've already got a trend built in. It's an uptrend. It's starting to come in. I know we're under all of this resistance, but a trending stop is, you know, resistance may slow it down, but eventually it will just kind of trend through it. And we've seen that time and time again for the last couple of months. So once we got out of the short, we got long. And you said this is what we should have done the first time. We should have gotten, instead of getting short, we should have gotten long. And even though we had this pullback, this came really close to stopping us out. We got this pullback, but it bounced. It ripped up. The uptrend was still intact. But what if I had just looked at this? Tunnel vision. That would have given me, I'd have been like, oh no, well, we need to short it again. And we would have shorted it and lost money again. This is the cycle that a lot of inexperienced traders get into. They want to trade the trend and they see the trend, but they don't widen their scope. That their focus is too narrow. And it's one of the issues that I have to deal with, that I work that I work through all the time, because I can zero in and get so focused that I forget about what's happening, looking at the overall picture, and can make a bad trading decision. So this one, eventually it kept working. No reason to take it off because we got the uptrend. And once I didn't want to take it off here. And you guys saw I took the profit. I wanted to put in my stop just in case it fell through. And I put my stop in $1 off, and it filled as soon as I sent the order out. It was just a mistake I made. There was no reason for me to take it off here, and I said it right when I did it. And I was like, man, I wanted to jump back in this so bad, because I fully expected this to potentially get to the VWAP going into the close, but I had to go get my son. Thankfully, I don't take my computer with me anymore, so I had no way to get back in this trade, and I don't log on my phone. Matter of fact, I don't have it installed for a reason. So that was that. And this is kind of what it looks like. It looked like overall. Not too bad of a day. But here's where you look at the trend. Look at that. So you can see where I got messed up at. You can see exactly where I got messed up at. Right there. I blocked all of this out, and all I saw was we rejected, and we got this big sell candle. I was ready to go. And you just can't do that. You cannot do that. So that's my lesson for today. But you can see that this was definitely in an uptrend. I identified it back here, and just that quick, started talking to somebody else in our mentor session. Just that quick, forgot what I watched over here, got tunnel vision, and took an ill-advised trade. But we managed it pretty much the way we wanted to, or we should have. All right, so that's that. I hope you guys have a great night, a great evening, and I will catch you tomorrow.